Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Anthony from ASI Publishing and Sparkline, where we provide tips, tricks, and inspiration to help you create that next great novel and even low content books on through KDP, and as well as going through techniques and tricks that I use for when I write as well, as I am a professional writer and I do have books on Amazon myself. So So it's great to see you here today. Today we are going to be focusing on KDP. I'm going to go through the dashboard as well as publishing your book. And so I'll be showing you step by step how to publish your book. And then once it's published, I'll show you what access and things we can do once it is published to be able to market your book and different things like that. So this is based off of everything that's on the KDP platform. So let's go ahead and take a look at my screen and move on into it. All right, guys. So we are now looking at my screen in KDP. The very first page that you look at is our bookshelf. Our bookshelf will have a list of all our books that we've had. It'll tell us if it's live, if it's pending, if it's publishing, and that different information. It'll also give us links to our books on Amazon. For example, for my first book here, The Ultimate Guide for Parenting, you can click over the view on Amazon and it has the different areas you can view on their website based off of those. So, for example, if I wanted to send a link to somebody in Japan, I could actually open up the Japanese version here and be able to send that link directly to them. Um, so by doing that, they're able to actually see the Japanese one, where if they want to order it, they can order it straight from the Japanese site. So to start with, we're going to go ahead and look at we're going to create a book, a posting so we can, our listing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the steps it takes to create it, but we will not be publishing this book here live. Because I'm not completely finished with it. This is actually just a placeholder for the book itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with clicking on create. Once you click on create, it will bring up a few different options. The particular book that I'm going to be working on is actually going to be a paperback book, um, because it is going to be a log type style book, a low content style book. So I do have some Kindle ebooks that you can be able to do, and you can create an ebook. But if you create a paperback, you can have the option of transferring everything over to be able to do the ebook and the hardcover as well. But we're going to click on Create Paperback for this particular book. So now here we have our creation page. Of course, we have our things along the top. We have paperback details, paperback content, paperback rights, and pricing. So we're going to go through each section of this, and so you better understand each one. The first thing is we're going to have language. I always select English. You can change it into a different language. I would suggest keeping it at English, especially if you're in the United States. The next one will be our book title. In this case, this is my book title is Your Ticket to the U.S. National Parks. This is going to be like a passport style book that will give more information about the books itself. Um, Book title is required. Subtitle is optional. However, for this, I do have a subtitle. So I'm going to copy and paste it from my manuscript. Then series, you can do series if you are creating a series of books. This is optional. I would only use this if I was doing like a story or maybe a nonfiction book that might be in series as we go. Okay. So next thing we would have is edition number. This is optional. You don't need to add edition number unless if you're got multiple editions of the book available. All right. Next is our author. So under author, we are going to put our author name for the book. Considering stuff, even though I'm doing the creating and the writing, and my wife also helps with that. Our family business is ASI Publishing, so that's what we've been publishing them all under. If you have contributors, you could also add them here as well if you would like. Description, because we're just kind of making a placeholder for this. I'm going to just put placeholder because it is a required field. You do need to have a description for your book, for your manuscript. So I'm just going to put placeholder there just so I have some text there. What I would advise doing is type this up in Word so that you can do all your corrections and everything, and then convert it back over and put it in the description. And I'll show you that in a later video when I'm ready to actually publish this book and I start filling things in with this placeholder. Next, we have our publishing rights. Under publishing rights, you do have, if you own the information or if it's public domain. Um, and we can talk about public domain at a later time. For now, this is my own right, and I own the copyright for it. Keywords, these are optional. I would advise going through Amazon, do some keyword research, find out what's going to really do well with your book, and then add those keywords that I would put up to 7. We will continue, and as I continue this process and we're ready to publish, I'll do another video that fills in all this information to make sure it is exactly the way I need it, and I will show you the publishing process at that time. So make sure you like, subscribe, and go ahead and follow that. So when that process is finishing up, you can get that video and be able to follow along with that. Now, next we need to choose our category. So we're going to click on category, and there are so many categories here to choose from. You got fiction, nonfiction, juvenile fiction, so forth. We're going to look and see if we can find a category that might work for what this book is going to be for. In this case, it's going to be for travel. So let's see if we can find something that's dealing with travel. Let's see. There's travel right there. Now we can choose from any of these options. Yeah. If you want specific, let's see. United States. We can probably do general on the United States. I do not see anything that says U.S. parks. Points of interest. You can only do 2 in this case. In this case, we have points of interest and United States general, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and hit save. We can change this at a later time when we're ready to publish it. Because this is going to be like a journal, notebook, planner type, we're going to go ahead and hit low content for this case. It does not contain any adult language, so we can hit no on that. If you do adult related books or it has language that's not suitable for children under 18, you'd want to hit yes. Okay, now we got everything in. Double check everything. All right, good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit save and continue. What this is going to do is this is going to save and continue onto the next part of this process. This is our paperback content. Now, because this is a low content book, we do not need an ISBN. You can purchase an ISBN and put one in there for your low content books. If it's a regular book, like a paperback for nonfiction or fiction, then you can actually click and have Amazon assign you an ISBN for that book as well. Um, Next we have is our publication date. I always use uh, the live on Amazon date will be used because that's a little bit better for me and for my purposes. Um, you can manually choose a date if you'd like. You don't have to. Okay. Next we have will be our print options. Under our print options, we have a few different things. First, we have our ink and paper type. So ink and paper type, we have black and white interior with cream paper, black and white interior with white paper, standard color interior with white paper, premium color interior with white paper. Now, considering with this particular book, I am going to have colored pages with pictures of the different parks. So I'm going to either want to do standard color interior with white paper or premium color interior. It makes a difference on your printing cost and how much you have to sell this for. Um, in this case, I wanted the very best. I'm going to do premium and I can change this later depending on the printing cost if I need to. Next, we have our trim size. With our trim size, we do have some options. It's defaulted at 6 by 9, no bleed, and matte. In this case, we can also do select a different size, and we have all these sizes to choose from. Keep in mind, if you want the same size for a hardback copy, then I would suggest doing your hardback first, understand what size you need for that, and then do it, because the hardback copies are limited on sizes, where we have more sizes for paperback. I'm going to keep this one at 6 by 9 because that's what my manuscript is going to be with. So I'm going to keep it at that. For now, I'm going to keep it no bleed, depending on how my pictures end up getting put into it and how the design when I'm officially finished with it. Um, if you use bleed, it must be PDF. It can't be anything else. It has to be a PDF file. For this one, we can do either matte or glossy. Um, most of my books are done in matte. I do have one book that's done on glossy, and I'm waiting to get that book so I can see how that one turns out to see if I like that or not. Um, and then next you have your upload your manuscript. Now I only have a little bit of that manuscript actually done, but in order for me to move to the next page, I do need a placeholder for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grab that manuscript, and I'm going to put it in. So I'm going to wait for that manuscript to upload. Um, Perfect. It is uploaded. It doesn't show there yet, but give it a minute, it will show. The next thing we have is our book cover. You have two options for book cover. You have the cover creator that is done by Amazon, and that will allow you to go in and create your book cover through the platform. Or you can use programs like Canva or any other program to design that. And we'll go over another video on how to design that as we are working through this particular book. Um, ah, and if you notice, there is an error on my manuscript because it says I have less than 5 pages. I have, or I only have 5 pages. I must have a minimum of 25 pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, just for the sake of our video, I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to bring up a book from one of my older books. I'm going to bring up we'll bring up my emotions book just as a place. So no, I'll bring up my drone log book as a placeholder for that. I'll change that and when we are ready to finish the process. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in there. We're going to come in here to launch cover creator. And again, this is just going to be a placeholder. I am going to be doing a video on creating the actual cover for this, and we'll change it at that time. But just to give you an idea of how this has worked, we'll go through here. Um, so image for the cover, we can choose from image gallery done by Amazon from your computer, or skip this step. In this case, we're going to go from image gallery. So there's a lot of different ones we have here. Considering this as US parks, let's see if we can find a park. We're going to type in our search and look for some kind of park or something that might be. Um, so let's take a look at. See, we'll scroll down through here a little bit, see if we can find one that we might like for the book. This one looks nice with the green. So you can see the green trees and that. We can say use this image. Okay, great. We're going to use that image. Now, this is what it looks like, the different formats that we have and how we would like to format it. And it just depends on how you would like to do it. So looking at it with this particular image and stuff, there's a few nice ones I like. I kind of like this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this and choose this because it's less than 79 pages to fit the spine. It's going to give me a warning telling me there's really not going to be much of a spine there because of it. Once we upload it and do everything like that, we'll be able to add that. You'll be able to add your text in the back of the book, your picture, you have your title and everything there. Once you're happy with it, you're going to want to hit preview. Um, ah, so we need to go back and pick some of these placeholders. Let's go ahead and fix this one. We're going to add an image from the actual book. Let's say from my computer, and take a look at this. So we're going to, let's see, miscellaneous. We're going to put our logo down here. Okay, and in this case, we're just going to delete some of this text. Okay, now let's try to preview. Okay, so it still says there are style issues. Okay, let's go ahead and give it, I shrink it down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and preview that. And as it's loading, we'll see the preview and be able to go from there. So you can see kind of what the preview looks like, how it's going to be. Let's go ahead and just hit save and submit. This is really just going to be a placeholder for us anyways for this process. So we're saving it and submitting that. And that brings us back to this page. As you can see, it has all this information here. And it has been created. Now both the manuscript and the book cover both say processing your file. Now that we have our cover and our manuscript uploaded, before we can move on, because this is a paperback, we do need to do a launch preview. So we're going to click on launch preview. It does take a little bit of time depending on how big your manuscript is to load. As you can see, this loaded pretty quickly. Because of the size of it versus the size of the other one, it does have a few errors that need to be corrected. And it'll tell you what errors need to be corrected on this, and because they're out of line. So in this case, I went ahead and just did a quick fix just so we can approve it and get it on because the manuscript is different size. And we'll hit approve. That way we can go ahead and finish up this, but you can go through each page, make sure it's all lined up as well. And then once it is done, notice it changed everything. It changed my manuscript itself to the size that I needed to because I did that, because I did the the premium color for this. It is a $9.88 printing cost for this because the precise type of paper. Um, the cheapest is the black and white, usually the white paper interior. In this case, I want the higher paper, when I officially finish this book, and I can make those changes later as I go. So just like before, we're going to hit save and continue. But if you notice, it does printing cost in each of the different um, locations. So let's hit save and continue. Once we save and continue, it will bring us up to the next page. This is our paperback rights and pricing. I always do all territories worldwide. This way it distributes out to every territory Amazon is in. If you do individual territory, you can select this and you can select which territories specifically you want it to be in. But if you do all rights, then all these are pretty much selected and it's available in every one of these places. So I always do all rights. Um, Primary marketplace, I always do my local place, which in this case I'm in the United States, so it'd be Amazon.com. We'll go down to pricing, royalties, and distributions. You do have to meet specific requirements if you want the expanded distribution. You can actually click on it, get more information if you want to actually do that. It gives you a little bit as far as that goes. But it does give you 60% royalty. And it tells you here, minimum price we can do this book is going to be at $16.47. So we can play around with it. For example, if I want to say, let's make it $19.95, I always like that 95 because most places are there. That gives us a $2.09 royalty of every book that is sold. You can experiment, play around with it based off that price. If we only do the, say, $16.95, if you notice, that only gives us a 29-cent royalty. So I suggest don't get close to that, but keep it as a reasonable price. For now, we're just going to do $19.95. That could change depending on my settings later when we officially publish this. It'll give you the price of each location that's available in, and it takes terms and conditions. It takes up to 72 hours to approve it and get it published. Because this is only a placeholder, what we're going to do is we're going to do save as a draft. That way, all the information that we just did is saved as a draft in this. Now, by doing that, everything's saved. We're going to come back up here and go back into our bookshelf. If you notice, once we get back into our bookshelf, our draft is right here with our cover, buy name, the price that we set, and it says continue setup. That will take us back into the process so we can continue the setup process and finally get it published. If you notice, it does give us an option, create Kindle ebook, create hardcover. If you click on one of these, all our first page of our book detail page will automatically transfer over to those particular types of styles. If you want to create a hardcover, the book must be a minimum of, I believe it's 75 pages. So you do have a minimum in order to create that hardcover. If it's less than that, you can only do the paperback. If it's low content, you cannot do Kindle because it's really a journal, something you can probably write in. Can't do that with a Kindle book. All right. So next, we're going to take a look at some of our fun features. We have, of course, we're in our bookshelf. Next, will be our reports. Our reports will show up like this. It'll show you a total of how much we've earned. You can also do on the side. You have your orders, month to date, promotions, pre-orders, royalty estimator, prior month royalties, payments, and you can also print these reports onto Excel if you want a copy of it, so you can keep a track of it. Then next we have is our community. Once you go into the community, there's a lot of bunch information that you can look at. That's a good place to get help and different things, stuff like that. But let's see. We also have KDP University. The university helps us in different areas of training us and teaching us how to do different things. Finally, we have our marketing. Marketing is where we can market our books to it. You can do it through Amazon ads if you like, and you can read up on the Amazon ads and what they require. Of course, you have your Author Central. For example, if I did UK, I do manage author page, and that would take me into my author page. And this is where I can create my author page that people will see when they click on it and go to it. Here's my actual profile that people see, and the information that I put down there. And then when you actually go to it, you'll be able to see it on Amazon. You can also bring up sales reports and different types of reports here as well. Next, you have the A plus content. Not all your content is going to qualify for this, but you can choose your marketplace and you can hit on A plus content. If you have anything that qualifies, it will show up in here. Let me double check, make sure it signs me in. All right. It does require you to put your password in again. So you put your password in and it will show up, bring up your A plus contact there. You can run price promotions on your Kindle books. You can also do a free book promotion and you can create that promotion. You do have to fund it out of your own earnings because you will be sending them a physical book out. Countdown promote deals, you can offer a free Kindle book during a specific time frame. You can also do a countdown and base it off of different prices at different times. You also have Kindle deals. You can nominate your book. This is new, but you can nominate your book and Prime Reading. This is beta at the time, so it is still new. So that's pretty much Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. So if you like what you've seen so far, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell button, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think. Also, if you have any ideas for books that you just really wish somebody would make or anything, you're welcome to go ahead and join our Facebook group. The link is in the description, so go ahead and check that out, as well as our Facebook page, where we will continue to offer promotions and update you on up and new videos and new books that are coming out. I do have a link to some of my books in the description as well. Um, but I do encourage you to join the Facebook group because the group allows you to be part of the creating process in this adventure, and you can offer ideas, suggestions, tips, um, anything that could help each other as a group become better writers and make better books, as well as if you have marketing tips, that would be great too, because a lot of people struggle with marketing, including myself. But feel free, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in our next video.